Hey guys, it's Roscoe, and on the Space Couch today, both Arrow and The Flash had their mid-season finales this week. When they return in January, they're going to be joined in the lineup by Legends of Tomorrow. So I thought we'd take a quick look at the work that's been done to set up the characters for that show. Now, obviously, Ray Palmer, the Atom, ever since he was first introduced in Arrow, there's been talk of a spin-off involving him. And obviously with his great comic timing, any show with him in it is really funny. Now, obviously at the end of Arrow Season 3, he was miniaturised in that explosion, and everyone thought he was dead for months. Once he's been freed from Damien Dark's clutches, however, he's pretty much at a loss as to what to do. And then he headed off somewhere to find himself, figure out what he's going to do with his life. It's actually quite similar in some respects to White Canary Sarah Lance. Obviously she was killed and then resurrected and then her soul restored. After an episode or two in Star City, she was also off to find herself. I do think though her bloodlust is likely to be an ongoing problem and will certainly probably cause problems for her future teammates. Now, as for Firestorm, it's obviously that as Professor Stein and now Jefferson Jackson. Well, after Ronnie Raymond died or was lost, whatever, at the end or the beginning of Season 2, Professor Stein became more and more unstable as the Firestorm Matrix wasn't able to bond with anyone. Obviously, in the end, he was able to merge with Jax, and Firestorm 2.0 was born. At the end of that episode about Firestorm and the Flash, they were going off to Pittsburgh to explore all of their capabilities. I assume like transmutation and all that sort of thing. I would have thought in Legends of Tomorrow the two of them should be really close allies, given that they're literally stuck together for a lot of the time. Now, I do think this combination for Firestorm works much better than the previous one. As much as I liked Robbie Amell's version of Firestorm, there was just always a couple of elements about it that just didn't quite click. This version does, and I'm looking forward to seeing Firestorm in action. Now, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Vandal Savage. Their backstory obviously was established in the Flash Arrow crossover episodes, which I will be reviewing in detail in a separate video. But Vandal Savage is proper evil and menacing. Some of his lines were just hilarious. I mean, in a really bad way. What is it he says? I used to enjoy slow deaths, now I just find them boring. Or was it, her destiny is to die, as is yours now. All those sorts of things, it's quite funny. Hawkman and Hawkgirl, I enjoyed them too. It's a good pairing. I mean, Hawkman, a bit of a dick, but he's an okay guy, really. And I really like Hawkgirl. That whole thing with Cisco is really sweet. And like, she's good as Kendra. I do like them together. Now, at the end, obviously, of the crossover, they were heading off to St. Rock. I'm not sure if that's pronounced properly, where they lived previously. We obviously saw that city in the extended Legends of Tomorrow trailer. Maybe they'll meet their prior incarnations, you know. And I have no doubt that's going to end up being a very bad idea. Now, how will they resurrect Vandal Savage, though, I wonder? I assume John Barrowman's got that covered. No, that's going to be a very nasty shock for the Hawks when they find that out. Now, as for Heatwave and Captain Cold, Snark gets busted out of prison in the Flash mid-season finale and presumably essentially goes to ground at the end of that so as not to be caught. I mean, they've been nudging Cold towards the light, as it were, for several of his appearances recently, ever since his deal with Barry, of course. I mean, no sign of heat waves that I'm aware of in this episode 9, the mid-season finale. So I expect that they're just going to get picked up in the pilot of Legends of Tomorrow in due course. Now, that leaves Rip Hunter as the only one who has not been introduced into the Arrowverse yet. That is going to happen in the pilot, according to the producers, you know. Can't have more than one new character in the pilot, it'll just take up too much backstory. He was referenced, of course, was Rip Hunter in the Flash Season 1 finale by Eobard Thawne, saying, interesting fellow, like he's the one who first built the time bubbles, the time ships, or whatever. So, the legends have now all been introduced, and now they have to assemble. How is Rip Hunter going to assemble them, I wonder, you know? We know that all on that rooftop, where he reveals that they aren't heroes, but the legends, and there's been several iterations of that scene, so I'm not quite sure which version we're going to end up seeing in the actual show. I mean, presumably, they'll be going directly from that rooftop, as it were, to the ship. I bet you though, at least one of the characters is going to have second doubts and isn't going to want to do it and has to be persuaded before they come around to the idea. That's usually the sort of thing that happens in these kinds of shows. I mean, it's going to be like herding cats for Rip Hunter, but it should be great fun to watch for all of the rest of us. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or a suggestion for an upcoming TV show you'd like to see discussed. Let me know what you think of Legends of Tomorrow and the work they've done into establishing all of these characters before it kicks off next month, or like the video.